Brilliant, Alan. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Stanley Town Council Full Council meeting tonight. We are at Crownhead Village Road on Tuesday, the 24th of September. First thing is housekeeping. And everybody can ask everybody to either switch off on the inside of the mobile phones, please. There's no planned fire drills. If the fire alarm goes off, there's supposedly fire drills. Or there's the exit outlet. Before we move on to apologies for absence, can I hand over to Anne? As we want to request, I have a request from you.
Thank you, Chair. What I'd like to request is that you and I go battles on the chief officer to be told regarding the second date to our bid.
That's no problem, man. Will it be something around to their legacy?
Yes.
We move on to item 2 on the agenda, which is apologies for absence. Do you have any apologies for absence?
Mr. Chair, we have apologies from Councillor Carl Marshall, Councillor Jim Stevenson, Councillor Christie, and Sam Mahan. Now the floor to political parties. Chair, we also have a request to extend dispensation for Councillor David 6 months.
Right, so it's not really on, it's later on.
No, it comes in the budget.
All right. Right, did everybody hear that would be asked for an extension for dispensation for Golden Billy? Is everybody in agreement with you?
The green time scale, or we'll just expend it for those 6 months? For those 6 months. Can I say 5 months? Can I say 5 months instead? So 6, not 5, yeah.
5 months. Move on to item 3, which is declarations of interest. Does anybody got any declarations of interest on any? Helen? Anybody else? No? Move on to item 4, Mayor's announcements. Right, since our last meeting, we have a new starter. I'll go to Martin. Actually, look forward to working with you. Thank you very much. And also, since then, I've been to a few places. I went to a premiere of the anti-social behaviour film, which was made with the children from Oxford Youth Club and Horton Youth Club. That was up at the youth club itself. It was a lovely night. They were like highlighting knife crime, antisocial behaviour. Really good. If people hasn't seen the premiere, I think they're going to be showing it maybe again. Well worth going. I was really proud of them. I've also been to an event in Cheapgate Terrace held by the Wearers Trust about sustainable urban drainage systems. All about that. I attended nearly every day at our free activity week at NDA during the summer holidays. and that was very good attendance, good feedback. I've attended the opening of the new Beamish Football Clubhouse. Fantastic building. And I've seen now that they're open up and they're taking bookings for parties and weddings and conferences and all sorts. So, it's pretty good for the community. I also attended Northumbria and Bloom Awards at Federation Breweries, and I'd just like to congratulate all the winners. We had a lovely afternoon. And also I've attended the Durham Association of Boys and Girls Club Awards evening. That was last night at Ramside Hall. We had a fantastic night, and our youth club's done really well. Oxford got a load of mentions, and the Den got quite a few awards, and I'd like to congratulate everybody. And Joan got an award, didn't you, Joan? And congratulations to Jill Wilson from Oxdale. She got a President's Medal for long length of service. Over 60 years. It's up there, really, really nice. So that's what I've been up to since the last meeting. And I've got no more announcements after that. Have you been anywhere, Alex? No, right. We'll move on to item 5, which is the leader's statement. Our leader, Jeanette, is apology.
Yes, Chair. Jeanette Stevenson, Indian Council, hasn't prepared an update, and I'm sure the objective was not on the
Right. We'll move on to item 6, our chief officer's report.
Thank you for the warm welcome as well. It's been a really busy start. So I joined in August. So I just want to give you an update on what I've been spending my time doing. So obviously the introduction and onboarding, starting with meeting all the staff, one-to-one to the staff, and trying to meet as many councillors on a one-to-one basis as possible, which has been really helpful. Alongside looking over the documentation, trying to understand the organisation and how it works, which obviously that's right at the beginning, but trying to work my way through a long list of actions that I need to do. Both Anne and I have started with Silver training. We had a session last Tuesday evening in Sedgefield, which was really helpful. I think it's going to be a brilliant training course. It was already so knowledgeable and helpful. I think that's going to be good. Alongside other training courses that we do as well, which I think will benefit from the staff in general that will access their training. I had the real pleasure of going out to part of the judging committee for building a fun and meeting some of the residents, it was fantastic to get out there and see the work and pride that people have in not just in their own gardens, but also in the wider area where they live. That was a real pleasure to do that. Picked up the work on the proposed war memorial. So the one that is in the new war memorial that's being proposed. I've contacted the council planning department to understand what the next steps are, and I'm meeting with Daniel from the AAP tomorrow. So I'm too with it the Bloom, which was a fantastic event, and going the whole, there was so many people who just did so well and felt a really positive thing to be part of. I've had a lot of stakeholder introductory meetings. I know there's a lot more to come. It's going to be a few weeks. I met up with Point North, which was Joe Community Fund, and Michelle Cooper has asked if I will sit on the panel for the Community Fund. The funding plan and website, and I was sent out an email to sort of tell everybody that it's up till the 13th of October. I went to the hall, now was it also going to be the AAT September, So that was interesting as well to understand more about how that fits in what we're doing. Carbon homes, I've had a couple of meetings, and one of the things that picked up was a lot of people when I've been out, and when I've met with different councils, that where we are situated in Greencroft, it means not necessarily accessible to the public. So I did contact Carbon Home to ask if we would be able to have a desk in there, hopefully on a market day, so that we could have a visibility and have a rotational team. And they had said, yeah, and I'm having a phone call tomorrow just to see what we need. It will only just be a desk, but it would allow the public to see us and for us to be more accessible. I have visited in Milford and Beamish, and just for women, packed out, see all the work that different organisations do. I'm well aware there'll be a lot of other organisations that to kind of get to know and understand. I've meeting with Durham Council about the allotments to understand the sort of scale of that work and that sort of finding sort of comes over to us. And with the library service, we're doing lots of work in the area, particular projects in the neighbourhood, and how we support those and sort of share what they're doing. And the money advice service, Sam Scotch Group had a meeting with, and I'm waiting for their formal written request for the contribution for next year, which obviously I was putting a report and bring to full council. I also attended the Lisa Morrison Memorial and some of the activities week, which was really enjoyable and interesting. Thank you. Thank you.
Right, we move on to item 7, which is about woodland creation of Greencroft Forest. We're going to do over to Sam.
Thanks very much. So it's been about a year since I was last here. And in brief, the scheme has gone through all its constraint checks now. So that's included ecology, historical environment, landscape, access to recreation, people, deer control, water, wildfire, and I'm going to leave William for the final point that we discussed. So having gone through all of those in discussion with policy advice team, the Forest Commission, with stakeholders, and also statutory entities such as Scottish England, Natural England, we've gone from 460 hectare scheme, which just under 1,000, just over 1,000 acres, down to a 292 hectare scheme. So we've reduced the forest area by 36%. And that's primarily in concern with vegetation, badgers, and other protected species, and historically compliant landscape. So we had a full green bird and survey, full vegetation survey, which involves initial walkover to assess the whole site, and then a more targeted vegetation survey on the areas that would be needed more targeted vegetation. And then a text species survey, so we've had a full batch survey on the site, and also DNA investment for regressive beauty ponds. For ecology, we consulted Natural England, the policy advice team, ecologists at Forest Commission, Durham County Anthropologists, Durham Wildlife Trust, and Durham County people, as well as other local people in principle our stakeholder communities. So our breeding bird waivers. So there was 10 breeding territories for breeding code were identified during our survey, and this density, so they part of the guidance from the FC, there's a density cutoff as at 1 pair, so basically 1 Mexican pair per quantity split. And our density was on that. So in consultation with Natural England, who are the competent authorities in this case, they advised that in this particular case, the impact of the proposed new woodland creation on the breeding success of herding areas likely to be limited. And that's something what Robert doesn't actually know. So they've signed up the scheme in terms of natural ways that we can consider basically not mitigating it in any ways, and there's enough territory to move into, and the local advice and views that we've had from the farms in the area that the way population can be finding engineering as it is. So we're not likely to further down the line with already before this vegetation. Apart from the large area, apart from that is the green rock from apart, there's only a few areas that are found to be open ground and appropriate buffering as by other concerns have been raised, such as the Japanese knotweed, rhododendron, and Himalayan balsam, but these are all really existing rivers and are at the moment concerned with new trees. Once we get to that, we're turn our attention on as far as knotweed and start managing those on a management plan. For badger on the site, we have concern from Student Priestley at Durham County Council and from Durham Badger Council, that group, that we were going to reduce badger habitat, basically sort of planting and grassing. Coincidentally, a lot of the mitigations we have to do vegetation in terms of forest habitat have meant that we're leaving a lot of grass open for the badgers as it is. And also the habitat that is we are planting on won't disappear overnight. We're putting in 20 to 40 meaningful trees, so they'll take 5 to 10 years before they start growing, crowding up grass and then waste. So that is what happens. Again, this is being agreed on with the Council of England. We have also provided protected method statement for our practices around badger sets and the results of the EDNA for the progress of each round of as well. So we've got, and that's been signed by FC. Historic climate, we had a full report done by Southern Green, and then this was discussed with the Historic Environment Advisor and the Landscape Advisor at FC, as well as Chair at Durham County Council. So there's been thorough adjustments in taking areas out and certain movements at only site, so they're happy with that. Well, same landscape, and we've done a lot of extra around these round roads, and inside, we'll be looking inside, not seeing some sheer areas as well, hence the kind of proposal for me. So that's our biggest constraints inside. To date, we've done 10 public engagement events, since 2023 to 2024, and design has been ordered, have been ordered to address material concerns raised during these events, such as increasing native meeting places. No sycamore was requested from horse riding, like that, horse interest. We've had a public accessible website available. We attended parish councils, town council meetings, and also had a meeting with the Manchester Partnership. Out of one of the annual planning meetings, it suggested a green orchard planted part of the scene. So interestingly, this is not part of the integration unit, but as we are pursuing grant funding for remortgage community forests, we're going to be working with them to identify an area outside the wood red area, but within the site boundary for community orchard. And we're going to place the post with May and Law and Stanley itself to help that community up there. And a part of the planting scheme as well, I'm specifying what the wild fruit trees across the whole site as well. So those will be accessible, and then how this community orchard plans out is at the moment it will be primarily led, maintained, but if the community wants to get more involved with it, absolutely can, but we're not here to put the only sense of community here to concentrate here, but it's going to be a long term thing. And part of that plan will be through Norwich Community Forest as well. Really hot on that communication. Also, for in the meetings, it was asked for increased public access, and the owners of the land are already in progress. So what we're looking to do is increase informal public access across the site. So a few disparate public rights of way, around one Manus up to Greenbrook itself, one Cross, and some over further towards West of Scheme. So what we're looking to do is create a loop path within the site itself. So obviously we're putting creation, stop comfort plan, so it's safer to access, safer for people to walk with their dogs if they want to, and stuff like that. And with that, there'll be a full loop within the site for people to, don't have to on the road. Part of this scheme is very deer control, so we will be undertaking deer population maintenance. And with that, it's to maintain a healthy population, and also deer like country. And part of the contract with line for this to maintain deer populations on the site. There will be fencing parts, but we've decided not to go for a full ring fence around the site because A, that will be unsightly, it will encourage deer corridors along the roads, so the potential increase in traffic patterns. So we decided to just do 5 distinct blocks of the fencing around the site, and there will be full start clothing so you get access to reviews, so we're going to start on the site. Or at least any new styles, and also we'll be removing fencing within the site as well, so it can be easier to spend money. Also, by deer fencing, we're reducing use of plastic within the scheme as well, which is again, you should always bonus for me. Further to that, we've done a lot of work with the Weir Rivers Trust to identify areas for improvement in terms of wet woodlands, where we can put them down to the watercourses, which are a separate planning application, so they will come after the schemes as well, identifying if there is any ponds. We've also considered wildfires. We've identified the local wildfire team and fire service, designed the scheme to design for manual units, and the scheme is gained access for higher highways. It's a very novel site, but quite patches surrounded by other roads that you get in the forest. And finally, wind, which is probably a big one that everyone's hearing. Managers of wines have got green turbines at the top of the hill. So this is the final hurdle for us, really. So as far as the Commission is concerned, the design is UK Forestry Standard compliant, which is the standard that we need to meet. But it won't pass the environmental impact assessment in its current state because of the wind. So what the Commission has done, because of the U-turn on wind farms in the UK and the potential for this to become more of an issue with the creation of wind farms, the Forestry Commission have contracted the Forest Research, who are a subdivision of the Forestry Commission, to get an independent panel of advisors to put together a report on wind modelling of the impact of the scheme on wind turbines. And this will have national implications for wind creation and wind turbines going forward. So we're a bit of a unique list. So the mitigation measures are going all the way up to the policy level of the Constitution. So we're waiting down basically. So right now we'll get a stage 2 sign-on, which is so we've got wind creation stage 1 and stage 2 of the planning grant, and then there's the environmental impacts assessment consent, basically the final bit that we get, and that will be pending with. And those measures will be agreed with managers wise. Let's see if have potential impacts on there. This is not the one therefore. Which one? So that's been taken very seriously by us and that level. Yeah, that's where we are today. Has anyone got any questions or comments?
Anybody got any questions for Sam? No? Cool.
Oh, wow.
Let's get on lightly there. So thank you very much for that, Sam. Good to come along and give us an update on it. Right. Seems there's no questions. Sorry. You're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the day if you want to.
Well, I still not about that. So
Thank you very much. I just Right, we'll move now on to item 8, which is the Durham Police and Crime Commissioner's Office. And tonight we've got Dawn Knight come along to introduce herself to us.
And Stanley, I think I'm all. So, firstly, thanks very much for having us come along. I'm on a bit of a roadshow across the county and across colleagues here. But just to briefly explain where we come from and why we're here. So we're funded, there are 2 brand new roles as safety, community safety coordinators. We're funded by Home Office from the Safer Streets Fund. which is all linked to 5 areas across County Durham that we identified as at a moment in time, let's say, as being the 5 hotspot areas. Because of Joy Allen's intervention, we're able to offer support assistance across the whole of County Durham and Durham. So we are employed by Durham Agency Against Crime. If anybody knows them, they're a great organisation based at Chester Street Police Station. And they do a lot of work with the main police cadets and police apprenticeships as well. But we're seconded to Joy's office. So the remit for the job was very broad. It had quite a big long list of job description, and I didn't know whether there was even anybody existed that would tick all of the boxes. I didn't think for 1 second that I did, but I knew I could, fulfill the role. And we've been in post now, it's 3 months since the 20th of June. It's been exciting and a bit of a baptism of fire. Between us, Kia has 4 of the 5 areas. ASB. She has the corridor and the east of Durham. She has the outskirts of Durham City Centre. She also has Sedgefield, Lincoln, and Spennymoor. That's their main areas. And then I have Lincoln Concert, all of North Durham. I have Castle, Bishop Auckland. I have all of the Dales. I have the whole of Durham. And I've got 3 little villages on the corner, all of the stuff communities. So I think between us it's about 800,000 residents. But you see, I think that is a good thing because that's 800,000 tax years. Do you look at it like that? So our role is, or it seems to be, that we are having conversations with everybody. So for councillors, town councillors, parish councillors, county councillors, and police. NATO groups, the Rotary, Alzheimer's groups, well ranging, everything, sports clubs, everything, and local schools and colleges and all of the university pressures and all that sort of stuff. But we're also working really closely with the enforcement officers, with police teams, local inspectors, and that sort of thing. And what we're finding is where we're doing the pop-up consultations, which obviously is one of them at the moment, I've got a snap survey if you want one, and we'd like to fill it in. Because one thing which I really want is what the public want to see, the direction of travel for the next 4 years, because you can't now. And we're already well on the way in terms that we're getting now, and to get a really good flavour of what's important to the people really. For the next 4 years. We're also having quite a lot of intelligence shares. There's obviously quite a distinct reluctance to report, and I think that's where us sort of talking about the Transfer and Silence initiative, which is basically designed on the back of what I'm sure everybody knows, just that 111 gets up there for a long time and you want to report, and of course we know there'll be 1,000 more police officers on the street. Well, we don't have that overnight, but what we are trying to do by using the Transfer for Silence is to triage people's concerns and report them to the right people. So I use the analogy, if your neighbour's dog is involved in one and you're at the end of the you're probably going to go, right, I'm going to call it ring 111. But actually, if 3 neighbours in the street are all listening to 111, realize it's an environmental health issue in the first instance, and the council issue really, unless you push the neighbour, then it's not good. So the using the QR code, and I know not everybody will want to or can use the QR code, but also part of the work we're doing is identifying people in the community, centres, groups, councillors, who will help residents to raise complaints using this process. And when we talk to the teams in Chester Street, just put we need to the 114 handlers, a small action, that sort of thing. The feedback we're getting on the ground is that they're actually getting what I've termed, and I know it's not hard to, a better call shout. They're being sent to the stuff that they should be getting sent to. So I think the important thing for councillors is that if it was me, I would say there's a new toolbox. It's both councils, Durham and Durham, have signed up for this.
group housing associations, living review parliaments, or police forces and the NHS all signed up to it. And what it means really is that they're very, very accountable. Because part of the QR code, also, if you reported an antisocial event 3 times in a 6-month period, then it tells you how to raise a complaint with whoever you've been told to raise a complaint with in the first place. You know, your concerns. It might be through the QR code, which we are says you can go to police, fire brigade, a housing association. And then what happens is if it's gotten worse, it's been on prevention, you feel like you want to raise a complaint, say QR code to do the process of doing that. If after that you're still not happy, you can ask for a case review. So this is something new in-house in John's office. And what they'll do is they'll look at all of the information that's being given, and they'll look at all of the actions that have been taken and decide whether or not the threshold is being met. And at that point, this for me is where it's really important, because the complainant or the victim is the centre of everything moving forward. At that point, they'll be given a case manager, and then they'll also be introduced to community PMS or doing something really well. So they're now in John's office as well. They're all 100 strong, have been rolling day to day, amazing. They are victims of crime who are now community champions who volunteer their time to support victims of crime. So through their lived experience, they will handhold through the rest of the process. So what will happen is they'll be invited to either give a personal impact statement, to a meeting of all the agencies that will be involved, or to support the community, they'll be invited along to meet in person. And at that point, they can then tell those agencies the impact, whatever the report is had on them, and they get that. The good thing about this is that once you request a case review, it's 48 hours to acknowledgement. And the time scale is 10 days, 10 days, 10 days. So a week here in you're looking for years. They have to do that all the time. Sometimes when you ask them, what, how did you report? Or when it's like, oh, well, I didn't report, or you never said that they did. And then it ends up where it starts entering someone learning when you're doing the answer of this. And the reason why that's important is because the case data doesn't match what the communities are saying or telling them. So what we're really going to be able to do is have trust in reporting that it is being fed in, so that that data then means that there can be initiative, operation, we can put resources into it. And sadly, I know nobody wants to hear it, but if it isn't reported properly, it doesn't happen. And that's really tough, but it is how it is. So that's the total for silence. We've got posters as well with the QR code, but also this card has gone down really well because it's got your email addresses and phone numbers as well. And we're going out and talking to any groups or any of you we've got, any groups on board, North Dublin, my area as well. So I've been more than happy to come along. We've got like some free motion, Christmas service, and I'm happy with the speak about that. The other thing we're pushing is the keep in the know, which of course is a free way of staying connected with an email address. And what you'll get is, what we tell the residents is that the local legal advocacy teams can give them alerts. So for example, if there's been burglaries in the area, then I can put in the map and say, right, I want to target 400 homes within an area. We want to have seats, just prompts and reminders, in particular as we get into the darkness and that sort of thing. And then you'll also get the digital version of Joyce's newsletter. So that's how everybody where she's been, and she's been doing what we feel, what's been happening, what we initially said, what's been that sort of stuff. And then the other thing I brought over is all this stuff here. We do have these posters as well, by the big QR codes, so asking people to leave them in windows where if the buildings are closed, people can do the QR codes. And of course, we're also pushing online chat. Just going with you can access Google and without during police 101 live, and you can record everything through the live chat function. Again, which you're not sitting 40 minutes on the one in the morning, 4 days. In a year's time, I'll come back to sleep. Like, it's really working, we can monitor. And if it isn't, my answer is, well, let me try something else. And that's all you do is, you just keep trying. So, you chat.
So they would actually take and walk through that and would just be signposted and said.
They should, no, as far as I'm aware, you can report everything, you can upload images, you can upload video, you can even full written statement. A lot of the shops are using it now for shoplifting. Because the managers previously would have to leave the shop floor. If you've got 2 months of staff, we've had situations where we've had that many incidents. The members of staff on the shop floor, where the managers by the time we reported one, actually gone. So they're on the shop floor using the live chat function. And then what has happened is that the force can lift all that information off, ask is this a true, is this a statement? It can be sent digitally. They then go and collect footage, additional footage. This is where you've got shops reporting. Not all shops are reporting shopping. And I think that's an issue because when we're not reporting, we become a free pot. And then the other shops that are become opportunist targets because they're in the area anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of work being doing around this. I mean, the amount of money that's going in the shop and this handle distress to the staff. And sometimes you don't see all of this in as well. But it's working, that's definitely positive. If you've got access to Wi-Fi, it's like if you see one of these awful bikes fly past you, front dog or tiny lighting, if you're in one, we're going to get angry. Yeah, we went. My advice is really take a photograph, record where it was. The bikes don't change. What they're wearing might, the bikes don't change. Go home, put the hat on, go on the live chat, go on Operation Snap. Again, anything motor related, vehicle related, parking related, you can put on that Operation Snap. But what it does is it gives you intelligence so you know where they are, what times of day, what the bikes are. And then again, my take on it is no report is listed. No reports are listed. And Crime Stoppers as well, absolutely anonymous. Absolutely anonymous. There is nobody on can trace who was reported through Crime Stoppers. And we're also really doing as well, starting with what students have got. To kick on those off, but yeah, I'm more than happy to do that. But we're also here to support any events and dates we've got, and Christmas stuff coming up. Everyone's a bit tight now, but by all means, send us through the dates. So pop along and have chat with us, do the reassurance. I mean, in the first 3 months we've had civil unrest. Been called out completely to do full support and reassurance where we've had violence and civil unrest. And then that on Saturday, the report the next one. So it's been delightful for 3 months, to say the least. It's been for a big area, so peace areas. I am really trying my best, but we do have all sorts of cases as well, trying to help and to slip through so that everything gets fed in. Anything that you hold gets fed in. And the whole basis is I get to know packages. Not lacking for those bonds or things. Do that information vacuum isn't always great. Is that we can look at the feedback. But obviously present the population and we can't say with anything that's happened. Did you have an operation in our area on Sunday? Right, there was and you didn't catch them. Yeah, I mean that's on everybody's. It's hard because it's on everywhere without question. Everywhere we go, they are problems. So they are looking at ways of new ways. The ability to really chase someone without going and I have to say, all the bikes that have been recovered in the time I've been also all of them, and all are one push, one of the representatives, and maybe that was actually. So it's interesting. And that's if you're in Woodland, that's the first question. How are they going to protect that? Well, we're going to put communities actually. Reach decided that everyone that all of it is a great initiative, and if it works, it could be a good for the communities, rural communities, often linked by rural and then it's good for that sort of thing. So hopefully it'll be want to say this is what it is. There's the package. involving everybody, policy school is, custody and sorry. Okay, have you got any questions at all, if anybody? Everybody knows where to find it, is that? Yeah, absolutely, yeah, I am here to support everyone. So, it's an absolute pleasure. I'll leave you with those, thank you for coming. Thank you a lot. And, enjoy the rest of your evening. Yes, absolutely.
Right, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is public participation.
Chair,
No regular, right? Well, we'll move on to item 10 then, which is the confirmation of the minutes, which you will find from the attachment A. Yes. And the council's asked to approve the entry record.
Yeah.
Approve process.
Yeah, these are not true at all. Because item 56, the events appeal. My recollection, and I'm sure Councillor Tully will back up on this one. I'll stated that one of the reasons why we decided not to have a fair location was because of antisocial behaviour at one event. That's not mentioned there. Alex also stated that there was a report which had come to council. Councillor Tully said that he's no report. Councillor Tully. And then I commented because I wasn't there at the time for the councillor, and I said, well, we can move this to the next meeting, which it did. This report that was mentioned by her, he presented to full council, the one which agreed, and then we reviewed, so he contacted that he said it's not true,
Chair, I can, just, there's a few, answers around the these concerns. So I've actually got a written copy of what was said when we had a form, on the last meeting. There's no way in there for this report putting that. But that doesn't say it can't. So you can all, re-listen to the video and the last meeting, which is that. So the issue was around the antisocial behaviour. And rightly, Councillor Tully raised the question about was there any reports. And then yourself, Councillor Tinley, obviously came in as well and wanted to see some evidence. So what normally happens is there was no motion taken, so there wasn't proposed or a second for us to take the road, which is why it's not in the minutes. So our instruction from CEDAW isn't to record he said, she said, like full kind of report, the conversation, we record the motions. So what Michelle does is if there was an action, she puts it on our action list. So that is an action that's on our action list to look at. I suggest that we look at it in tandem when we review the events, because what's happened is we've gone from 5 clear parts to 1, and it was at that point that was raised about 5. So member of the public needs to get a question. So I'll respond to the question, and then that was when Councillor did Tully ask the question about the reports on the side. So the thing is, that type of information should bring us when the events committee and when that report for council went to make a decision to go from 1 to go from 5 to 1. And that information wasn't asked at that time and the decision was made. So revisiting it now, which was an event that was held by delivery events, doesn't change the fact that we moved forward with the proposal to go from 5 to 1. So I suggest we look at that in tandem when we review the current event plan, which is obviously we just had the one event recently, and we look at it all together.
If we're going to do that, and we still take minutes as a board, but we take in that, section 56 out, do we need to take that out? Or can we leave it in? And then have another action, which is to keep it for the review, or to talk about it again during the review? Is that okay?
If it helps, I'll have on the agenda under item 20 events update, the two reports Alice did of the D-Day Armed Forces and the Activity Week. I have said that these documents will form part of the overall review of the events working group and their recommendation for council on future events. So I think we could take it. You've got, if everybody's in agreement,
You want to come back and then.
yeah.
I'm struggling to see why, when Alex has stated something, when the member of the public is raised a question, and the answer given to that member of the public was because of anti-social behaviour in the event. So it's not in minutes. That's where I'm struggling from.
Right, okay.
So
So,
what was the reply to the member of the public?
so it's the response to the question that we want to make sure that that's amended. Right, so where's the minute? I think we wouldn't touch, but they were.
I think that was the reply to the member of the public, not to the councillor, to the question put forth by a member of the public. And that's why it should.
I can add Alex's initial response to the question of the public, which I'll actually get word for word, before, obviously, all of the other issues you raised. Yeah. I'll take that away and remember.
Right.
Joe, council.
So are we saying that from this moment on, all questions from members of the public will be written and their reply will be as was on this set of questions? That's going to be now the process. So when a question is asked, the question will be laid out and the answer will then be laid out after.
Through you, Chair. That's a really good point. But this is where we need to be careful because we take guidance and we have to be aware of what capacity there is to take to do everything that you're just saying there, Councillor Nicholson. So really members need to be mindful about actually what they're asking us to do, because whilst that's happening, other things are happening. Our guidance is just to get an outline decision for the minutes and questions, no questions happen when they were answered. Maybe if members want to turn around at the time of the full council and say to that particular question, can that question be minuted? Then on that occasion it could be. But if you're going to ask us to do a minuted response to every single question, then you set a precedent there.
I think one of the reasons I put myself up to it was to be open and transparent to the members of the public. So the members of the public ask that question, and there's nobody in there to reply that that was given, and I think that the open transparency with this council must be a need. Because these minutes go out to anybody in the area, that person, whoever, and put that what it is, would be looking for it, and saying, well, hold on, I've said that, why don't we report it?
Shown on video that's really important. People for that engine.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the case. And also, if you look at the response, Disclaimer Park has been replaced by Activity Week to Orca Academy. This was decided using feedback from the public who attended past Disclaimer Park events. So actually, the staff carried out a consultation at the past Disclaimer Park events. And that will be recorded and held in our office. So all it is that the general minute has been applied to say that
After the reply that member of the public was due to antisocial behaviour at one event.
it wasn't just, yeah, it wasn't, I mean, it could be the sole reason then I can kind of understand that, but this is a general minute take from the response to the question.
Can I bring Councillor Nicholson?
Just kind of to clarify this. It was asked as in a question to events. It wasn't asked as a public question, unfortunately. And that's where, you know, the public space is there, and that was asked in a conversation about events. And that's where we need to be careful about how we're replying to those things, because the public has their opportunity in the public participation question, but that had been answered to the public. So we allowed the public to ask the question in the events part, not in the public participation part. And that's why it's not.
And that, you're absolutely right, that was the discretion of the chair to allow that to happen.
That's right.
I don't want to prolong it. But I think if it's the questions, see the questions and answers. If for whatever reason, because generally they shouldn't be allowed to speak further through the meeting, if they are at the discretion of the chair or whoever gives them that discretion, then I do think it should be answered in full. Otherwise, they shouldn't be allowed to ask the question.
This we then just decide.
You know, if we had given them the authority to ask a question outside of the general remit of the public and an answer is to be given, then I think we should have the correct.
So sorry, Chair, just through you. In general, that's not going to happen that often, is it? Or we hope that's not going to happen that often.
No, but we need to have provision in case it does.
So moving on, so I'm suggesting that we put a proviso that the question be answered and the minutes amended. Simple as,
Really think going forward, then the answer the questions must be put in the public participation, and if they request another that we suggest to come to the next meeting and ask them in the public section before they send in then for the next.
Absolutely. So if the chair decides in the meeting that they're going to allow the public to ask more questions and go on longer than what we would suggest, then from here on in we just have to record it. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, but I would propose that if we need to do it properly on the website.
On the council. So this brings us back to, are we setting these as a true record? Or are we sort of tripping it within our defense update on? I can, is it or are we at that? I mean, personally.
Through you, Chief, can you take something out that's already in? It can amend, so can amend the update,
Yeah.
you know, and say the question was asked. This was the reply, and those amended minutes will come to the next council meeting. These are all once the minutes with the legal documents.
Sorry, can you just clear this up? So for this particular one, when we bring it back, do you want the whole thing recorded in those minutes from the conversation, or are we going to say from here on in, we'll do that, and we'll make a small amendment to this one to say, including antisocial behaviour, think about it. Would you be happy with that? Because otherwise it's a lot of.
Guidelines are, you put in, the chairman read a question during the events.
Serves me right. It was during public participation where a person had asked quite a few questions and was told there's a report coming out about it later on.
So then, sorry, Harry, so then, to keep that right, if that question was asked during public participation, and someone said that to them, that question goes in the public participation part, which it isn't. Do you know what I'm saying? So that question in your reply goes into that piece.
If that's the case, does that have to be verbatim? Because I don't believe it does.
Time ago,
Yeah.
decided not to write verbatim.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't like individuals and that. But the factual part of it, you know, the person, that person, you know, Joe Glass, that's that question. It's still really against, and whatever the council decision was.
Yeah. It's kind of make clear, you know, a whole thing.
So. So we must still have to. You'll
still have to approve.
You've got to bring it to approve with the amendment.
Yeah. Everybody's happy with that? Yeah. Right, we'll move on to item 11, which is the receipt of the committee minutes. It's to receive the committee minutes from the policy working group, which is attached to G. Good.
We could not see any which is on the floor, so something really which not
So the policy working attachment B is withdrawn. So we are asked to receive the HR interim committee minutes held on the 8th of July, which is attachment C. Councillors happy to receive that?
Not if you want, then you keep throwing in like. Yeah, I apologise, councillor, tell me that's my fault. I'll make sure that doesn't happen again.
Councillor Nicholson?
So it isn't for the HR committee to resolve Councillor Gordon Green's dispensation. And that's in the minutes. That's what the council to do. So if you take that out,
So, obviously councillor Gordon Biddy was part of the HR committee. So we weren't approving this dispensation, we just noting, his absence, because he couldn't attend, he's got a dispensation.
Right, right. So it should say apologies for absence and Gordon Biddy. We already know, we don't need to know that reason. You agree he's apologies.
Yeah.
So we don't need that.
So, yeah. So that,
Yeah.
right,
Just need to take that dispensation.
Everybody happy to agree about the dispensation part? Yeah.
Right, we'll move on to item 12, which is the council payment in Margaret, do you want us to go through them one by one? Councillor Lovins, proposed budget.
Just before we do that, I just have to. We've still got quite a few bits going to the fall. But they're just in the wrong place.
But might be refunds, particular one you're looking at, how?
We've got staff costs, on each month, we've got £703 and £3,055 in payroll in June 2024.
The chairman thing on that, teaching.
That was 2023. We've also got expenses, so we've got payroll. All the three bottom ones through, because they're still making, so
we don't have a budget, so the city hall casual budget, the salaries of casuals was always, in the city hall, which is where the budget's been sitting, so Joe obviously hasn't, he's continued to go in there rather than changing the cost centre. Tunisia,
just going forward, it's a bit.
put it in the right place, so yeah. But that was for, casual salaries, so that's been put on, the interim and Clark and Michelle who works.
It was just obviously when I was looking through and I was thinking, well, I've got it, so no, got the right for it. It's not really, it's not on the right place. And the other thing, and I might have just missed it, we've got loads of fun and food schemes. Did we have money that we're giving out?
So Alex, do you want to jump in on food?
So it was, the sport that we were going to do, and we were going to put in the funding for that. So that came back to the council to get changed into our fun and food schemes, or did much funded, so that's what that is.
So we've been giving them just out to people who've been interested in it.
So we have a budget for the sport event, and then got back and so Jerry's that budget to do the fun and food. So the AAP monitoring it, so they're the ones who use only to support what each event was doing. So we didn't cover the whole event, we just supported it.
So when there's full and food gone out like foundational lights in the day and things like that, we've just been administering it. Because there's loads of fun and food things in July. But it's not around, I knew we were doing it at our events, but there's unit event piece for SPL, Foundation of Life, and then we did all sorts of police. So primary school,
Schedule manual.
this one's on schedule of July, attachment G. I mean, I'm giving my copy down. Really good. Because as I say, I knew we were doing full and food hours, just didn't want to read it. And then I just thought maybe there was leftovers and we want to distribute it.
Right, so some of that fun and food is for community events, was the event, at the North Durham Academy. And then the other, one of the food schemes, it's just unfortunate Joe has used the same events, for the North Academy event rather than.
So were they just all going on?
So some of those are, I mean, I can do a better breakdown.
It's just for clarification, I just want to.
So the SLP, they will work with like food, something like that.
So Creative also, Foundation of Light, Oasis, Cracked House, SLP, Stanley YYPC, and self-standing pay or date programs during fun and food. Because I was on the panel, so I know that for a panel, I really definitely did that.
So the council agreed to take some of the money that was going to be used for the events to help with fun and food, because the county council originally told our education program that the money could only go to children who were on school meals. And then there was a sort of a top of the town council agreed to help cover some of the elite children that just fell on the side of that. So my understanding was that's what was parents were told. It was the town council's contribution was those fun and food schemes. Great, can everyone, do you want to go on for about council?
Well, I'm not saying it wasn't great, I just don't know.
Mary, do you want to?
Yeah, quite a few people in our area who had children who attended for the food, but some people would be charged a lot of money.
That's seven individuals that were running.
So why did we contribute money towards it?
Well, the council can't really comment on that because it depends on what the scheme is.
Well, I asked these questions at the third vote, and one was photographing the 30,000 over to the Gazio for putting food. I asked their wage, I was told that wouldn't happen because it would can't change.
Like I said, I was just using that part of technology in their papers, so you have to look at all of that. And not all of the companies can cheap and charging. I don't know
The ones, I don't know what the very area are.
and then that's what I'm saying, and they want to see. You know, so perhaps I some of the thing when where every Tuesday school dinner is to get one table by some preschool dinner, and then we end up with more children attending the sessions than we'll let necessarily doing. Of course, we call the money that you didn't charge anyone, or sometimes you will charge because yeah,
If the book sort of goes eight, but the parents got paid back and then they were the large.
in the applications are being, the things for consolidated, they were doing something as charge, and that should have all been said, having
I was wondering why they put the £30,000 because then there's still loads of children working charged.
Yeah.
Parents charge a
So
lot.
that's got nothing to do with the money that we get, that's down to the venues that we're.
Yeah, but that's what they gave the money for, our school, we were given the money for.
But we didn't necessarily give anyone to the people in charge, and
So we gave the money more than that, to run it.
So, will we contact the LAP or you can ask for, yeah.
People will move on to the account or, neighborhood gardens. We pay on SLA two. But as far as I'm aware, or what a big company will, we not only have one neighborhood warden, the while being the two, we do not get that back.
we're in the process of negotiating that.
When you say we don't pay for one.
If we've only got one, we'll pay the two, to the SLA, surely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Perhaps continue, we need to talk about, up here, if we talk about individual person, we talk about sickness.
I'm asking why we've only got one neighborhood warden when we gave two.
Or we do still have to,
See. We do have to do that for lawyers.
You've got all like one, can't get it.
No, we've got two.
Yeah.
Right, so we still need to approve the accounts. We still need to approve the check. Yes, no. Anybody? Yeah, yeah. Have we done that? So I'm finishing the road. The move on to item 13 is the internal audit. Members of us, the comment on the attack periods of the Right. The committee were asked to, ones that asked for comments. Do you want to go through them one by one, or can I say that as read and if there's current questions asked? We take on block.
Yeah.
So we're looking at attachments M through to attachment Q. Anybody got any questions? No? No. You accept them? Yeah. And we'll move on to item 14, 41 budget monitoring, which is attachment R. Council has asked, requested to launch the budget. Okay, everybody okay with that? Yes, Jane. We'll move on to item 15. Subscription to outside organizations and look.
And what we did before was, and we generate your range. And there's a bit of debate around the SLCC membership. So I went away to try and find out when it was actually approved, and it being approved on the 20th of November. We were heading purchases, so I said I would bring it up once we had, the check our chief officer for members to reconsider with the subscription to the Society of Women.
I think we're still doing.
Improve? Yeah. That one's sorted there. Next item is item 16, panel applications. Is everybody aware of any panel applications?
Because you want to go to school on the seven, example,
Yeah.
floor. I'm sorry to that.
Item 17, job update from Durham County Councillors. No, we've had a recess, and I'll leave it to tomorrow, so. Yes,
Obviously, yes, we'll have this and, full council is tomorrow. Well, I have to say, I was lucky enough to attend the North East Total Football Society's big show that I have supported for a number of years, but this year is the first year I've not had support because it was in English. They are thrilled with the event and they have offered a long-term 10-year venue for them. And next year's, because there's already been an admission, next year's is even bigger than this year's was. So I have to say, it's really good. The event was wonderful. Obviously, Green was there, he was amazing, absolutely amazing.